Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Another day, another project on the 65 here. First thing I'm going to start off with is a little bit of mail call and a shout out. I'll just bring this in. You guys can see Rusted Junk Garage. Go check Steve out over there. He's got some real cool older Chevy projects he's got going, and got some old outboard, vintage outboard stuff going on as well. So I've got him on the shop door along with all the rest of them. Some more to check out. Desert Rat 2000. Robert over at Vino Rat Rods. This is Mike over here at Desert Rat 2000. Check out Andy. Andy's Doghouse. Outlaw Edge. That would be, Arco. Gav out at the old Perico store. And a bunch of others out there. Iron Horse Garage. Oh, and then there's that Redneck Coachworks. So I'll just show you what I'm working on here now. I've been busy with trying to get seatbelt stuff done. I just checked where my parts are. So what I've got going on is, oh, sorry about that. Let me get some light that doesn't blind you. So I've got the seatbelt mount for the shoulder harness up here. What I've done is I've put a 1/4 inch, 13 inch long by 2 inch wide piece of plate in the back to beef up the top, and then down at the bottom I put in a 1/4 inch plate that ties the door, the B-pillar into the cab mount structure at the bottom here. On the other side, I'm just working on just about ready to screw the stiffener in that I built. I'll just go around to the other side. Oh, that light's nice and bright, isn't it? So this is the stiffener that I built. I welded a nut on the backside to fasten the seat belt to, and then I've got two 1032 holes that I tapped into it. They're mostly just for locating and keeping the piece nice and straight in there. So I'm going to put this one in, and then the next thing I've got to do, I'll just go back over to the other side where the lights aren't in our eyes. I've got to give it a good vacuum, get rid of all the metal filings. Going to wipe it down, and then I'm going to start putting sound deadening in here. I've got some more of that Noico stuff, so I'll continue with that later today. It's supposed to be nice and warm outside today. We're supposed to get into the pluses, so I'm going to take advantage of that to go out and start pulling the wiring out of the Aspen that I still need to do the Gen 3 Hemi mod. So stay tuned. I'll be back a little later with some more content here. Hey guys, welcome back. We had just a beautiful day yesterday. Sun was shining. I think we got to about 5 or 6 above outside. Gave me a good opportunity to get all the wiring pulled out of the Aspen, the 2008 Aspen donor vehicle. I had to pull pretty much the entire underhood wiring harness out of it. I got the 2 main plugs I need, actually 3, including the gas pedal, electronic gas pedal. Now I just have to go through it all and figure out what I need, what I don't need, unpin the stuff I don't need and throw it away. So preliminary, this is the pile of stuff that I don't need from just going through it the first time and unwrapping the harness. It's a lot easier than it looks. Anything you don't need, you just eliminate it. So next thing I'm going to do is, so I can get ready for wiring, I'm going to put the sound deadening in the cab. This is the product I'm using, same thing I used in the Dodge. It's called Noico. I see now they're putting Noico USA on it. It was a product of the USSR, or Russia I mean, but it's a really nice product. It is still considerably cheaper than Dynamat or Kilmat. It was around $80 for a 36 square foot box. I see it's up to 104. I think we paid 92 or 94 for it, so it keeps cruising up. So anyhow, the cab's all prepared. I got everything cleaned out. I'm just going to give it a quick wipe down, just so that I'm positive everything's going to stick. Got all of the welding, everything's completely done. So I'm going to get going on getting this Noiko stuff in there, and then we can move on to the big job of wiring this thing. So I'll bring you back once I get going. Okay, when you open your box of Noiko, you're going to find there's 9 sheets folded 3 together, and they're folded in 3. First thing you want to do is lay them out, smooth the wrinkles out of them, and let them sit. It'll start to work them flatter, and it makes it much easier to use once you get in the vehicle. So what I've got inside, I've got the first 2 sheets in. Always start up at the top where it's the hardest to get to and work your way back. That way it's easier to fit little pieces to straighten up any irregularities. Because of the way the floor is shaped in here, it's got some weird dishes and curves. The stuff is pretty forgiving. It stretches pretty good, but I did have to put 2 relief cuts, one here and one there. I just cut a little wedge out and then press it down. I used to have a laminate roller somewhere, rubber one, and it disappeared on me. So what I'm using is a fiberglass layup roller. Got to be careful you don't tear it, so I just use it on the flats. And then anywhere else, I use the back side of a scraper just to press it down. They do sell a special roller that you can buy for $50 or $40 or something. It's just not worth it. They want you to press it down until all of these little diamond shapes disappear, which is really easy to do with the back side of that scraper handle there. So, okay, I'm going to carry on. I've got the whole floor to do, as well as up the back of the cab here. Hey everyone, we're done with sound deadening. I've done all the way up to the top of the firewall on both sides. I've got the rear portion of the cab done, where it's just one layer. We still have the ceiling to do here. I'm going to leave that for Darcy, the owner of the truck, so he gets a feel of how much of a pain in the ass this stuff is to do. So next thing we're going to start on is wiring. Let me kill the light here. So this will be, I think it's the 4th vehicle I've done a complete wiring harness on. I'm using one I bought from Amazon. In the past, I've always bought a 21 circuit from eBay, and they've been really good. This one, it had a fairly good review. It looks like good quality wire and everything, pretty much the same as the eBay one. The issue I have is the printing on the wires that tells you what each wire is for is almost impossible to read. I don't even know if it'll show up on the camera here. I have to use a magnifying glass to see what it is. So I'm going to have to put a tape mark or a piece of tape on each wire that I can't read properly, so I know where it's going to. So when you get the wiring harness, it comes broke down into, I believe there's 4 areas. You've got ignition, headlight switch, one group for the engine bay, tail lights, headlights, and then accessories. So I'm going to break it down a little further, and I'm going to eliminate the stuff that I don't need so it's not so confusing. And then I can start taping it up into where it goes and getting it mounted in the truck here. So I'm just going to get in here and start doing a bunch of tedious marking and getting everything where it's supposed to be. Okay, so we got everything sorted out here. Made a little more sense of everything. I found that there's just some of the colors of wire that are really hard to read the writing on. Green is one of them, yellow is one of them, and the red is. That's most of them, but the ones that were really tough to read, I marked with masking tape what they actually are. I pulled the wires out from the circuits that I don't need. Good for filling up the stock on wires. Some of the wiring was sorted kind of weird. They had some of the lights with engine stuff and some of the engine stuff with lights. So that's what you got to go through and just make everything go into zones that are going to work for you. So next thing I have to do is I just got to loosely install the e-brake handle under the dash, and then I've got to figure out where I'm going to mount my fuse panel. And from there, I can start running the wires out to where they have to go and get into actually wiring this. So what I'm going to end up with is the main body fuse panel is going to be under the dash. And then under the hood, I'm going to have a separate one that's going to have the electronics for the engine as far as the ASD control, the fan controls and all that kind of stuff. It just makes it a lot simpler. So what I'm going to have to do is run the trigger wires from the computer to the fuel pump and any of the other things that need to have a trigger on them. On these Dodges, the computer switches the ground. There's hot is always run to everything. So when it fires coils or when it turns the fuel pump on, it's actually completing the ground circuit. So I'm going to get this all figured out where it's got to go. Just loosely put that e-brake in, and then I'll build a mount for my fuse panel here. Okay guys, we're about 4 hours later. I got everything ready to go on the wiring harness. It's ready to go in the truck. I got the emergency brake lever installed. I decided just to leave it in. It's going to make putting the fenders on a little bit tougher, but oh well. So what I had to do with it, let's move the light here, get you in the right place. So this is the handle. I had to move it over to the driver's side a little bit, and I had to move it down about 1.5 inches just so that it didn't interfere with the AC duct here. The other thing I've got done, see if I can get this lit. If you look inside, if it works, not quite sure. Nope, I'm going to have to take you underneath here. So after looking a bunch, I came up with this for a mount for the fuse panel. It's going to screw straight up here. The wires will kind of drop down out the back of it there. It'll have nice access. The guy will just be able to lay on the floor here and take a peek at the fuses. So my next job here will be putting the getting the fuse panel mounted in there. Let's get you back on the monopod. There we go. Okay. So next I'm going to get the wires, the fuse panel actually mounted in there. Get the wires run out to their zones where they have to go. I am going to drill one more hole in the firewall right about here for the light wiring for the front and the rear, just to keep the main part of the engine bay kind of clear over there. So that's where we're at on this video. I think it's a good place to end it. Once I get going again on the wiring, I'll bring you back and we can go from there. So thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and we'll catch you on the next one, guys. Take care.